Hello, beautiful soul, and welcome. So, I am feeling inspired to share a little bit with you about my process of how I launch an offering and how I share the medicine of the offering so that all of the women who are meant to come in, whether it's their destiny to come into my spaces and receive the transformation and the miracles and the medicine that God has for them, it can find them and it can land with them where they know this is for me. And also that it supports both of us in the process of coming into the container and also, for the greater journey. So as I'm preparing to hold Womb Vision, which begins next week, I will be teaching an entire masterclass on the art of launching as spiritual initiation, which I'm really excited about because as women who are coded with the feminine Christ Sophionic coding of the Grail, we're not just like selling an offering, we're birthing an offering that has been placed within our wombs from God, and we're sharing that with the world. So there is great care and tenderness that comes with that, but also great power. And the way that I approach launching is very different from what I've seen. And so I just wanted to kind of invite you into the process that I go through, that I'm going to be teaching more about inside Womb Vision. And you can feel free to take what resonates from this and apply it to your own teachings around like how you launch your own offerings, right? Of like bringing it into your own process. And also, my intention with this is also to just give you an idea of how launching can be outside of what we're taught. So that's a big part of the work that I'm doing inside Womb Vision is like breaking the belief systems and breaking you out of the boxes from either the coaching matrix, from 3D matrix selling and marketing and all of that, and then bringing you into the Sophionic realm, bringing you into God's systems of how offerings and products and whatever it is that you are selling, whatever it is that you are offering people into, can be different and can be really aligned for you. So the way that you launch an offering may be very different from how I launch an offering. And that's based on your own organic coding of like what's really fun for you and how you like to share your medicine with the world, and also how to communicate the medicine of the offering to the person who's going to receive it. Because when God gives you an offering that is part of your destiny to co-create with God and to bring forward, it's because there are beautiful souls who are meant to come into your offering to receive from you for their own soul growth, for their own transformation, whatever it is, the medicine that you're carrying that God has asked you to bring forward. It's because there are souls who are coming in to receive it in order for them to carry out whatever their assignments, missions, lives are that are going to be connected into whatever piece, whatever thread you're bringing in, right? And so God will guide us to different spaces and mentors based on our soul's journey of what we're meant to receive, what we're meant to birth into the world. And so for many women who are called to work with me, it's a deep soul calling because they know that I have codes for them and I'm the mentor that's going to support them in elevating them to their next level. And so God will call us into these spaces. So I just want to, pull back the veil a little bit because I feel, especially because I've never taught about about this publicly other than in like, my group containers and things like that where I've been teaching about this, but I've never really taught about it publicly. So today, as I was in prayer about Womb Vision and just feeling the group gathering as we begin next week, God really was inspiring me to just share a little bit about my own practices that could also support you, regardless if you come into Womb Vision or not. I want your offerings to be successful. You have a unique gift to share with the world. And if God has placed it in your heart and in your womb and you're here to birth it, I want it to be successful because there are souls that need it. And it's going to support them and the ripple effect. I mean, the impact. We're talking about impact and legacy here. And that's, the foundation here in Womb Vision is birthing your legacy offerings that are not only going to create a massive impact, for all the lives that you touch, but also for your own legacy, for you and for your family, and what God has in store for you. So when it comes to launching, it's so important to, again, bring in God's strategy for the launch. And every launch is going to be different, right? Me launching a masterclass, like a one-time kind of low ticket offer, is going to be very different than launching a larger, deeper, transformative container like womb vision, right? Which is a longer, deeper process because of the depth of it and just what arrives. Now, that's not always the case either, right? It's like some launches, they just go differently based on like the medicine of them, right? So that doesn't mean that a lower ticket offer isn't going to be like a deeper launch. It absolutely can be. It just might not be the same as like a more, a bigger container. And so really you want to feel into the energetics of the container and what the container is actually asking for, right? And what you're meant to share and express in order to really communicate what the offering is, whether that's a physical product, whether that is, a service-based offering, and asking God for the strategy. You may have seen my recent post about, God is the architect of your business. And I have a whole hour-long teaching around this inside Womb Vision, where I teach you how to work with God as the architect of your business. Because when you invite God into the process and you allow God to be the architect of your business, you're going to receive strategies, you're going to receive instructions, you're going to receive opportunities and blueprints. Doors are going to open that never would have opened by doing it on your own. And that goes too as part of the launch, where you're going to get opportunities that wouldn't have come in, but they did because you were co-creating with God. So God knows who's coming into your offers. God knows how to guide you in the process of how to speak to those people who are coming in, or who are going to buy that product, or who are going to take you up, on that service, or who are going to sign up for your retreat, or who are going to work with you or collaborate with you. God already has all of that aligned. It's just about tuning in and listening to the wisdom of God and the voice of God coming through you, while also honoring what feels right to your body and to your womb, especially as a woman birthing and offering. It's like, what does my womb need to support the launch that is occurring? Yeah. It's like, what does the womb need for this process? And tuning in and tuning into the body too. Sometimes it's important to rest. And of course, the biggest part about launching is trusting God and trusting the timing of who comes in, when they come in, how they show up, how you guide them through the process, what medicine you're receiving for them, what medicine, you're giving to them through the process, and the overall exchange, right? Some smaller offerings, right, of, like I said, like a one-time masterclass, there's not going to be as much conversation or, exchange happening because it's a lower ticket offer. People know, okay, I'm coming into that. With bigger offerings where it's like a commitment of a time and energy and sacred investment, that's going to require different medicine streams to flow in to support the work that you're doing. Now, I've noticed a theme that I want to speak to that is in a lot of like the coaching industry, which is like, if you nail your messaging, people will just come in and there's no questions asked, right? I think this is a really slippery slope, because while how you communicate your offer from a place of power and from knowing that this is for people coming in and that it's going to be successful, communicating it from that lens is important, and being clear about what you're offering and why. But when you're, especially if you're doing healing work, and if you're doing transformation and divine feminine embodiment reclamation work and womb healing work, or you're doing multidimensional work, which many of the women that I support are. And if you're here, you're a multidimensional woman. And if you have a soul business, more than likely there are multidimensional aspects. It requires a different finesse than just like selling something that isn't necessarily as multidimensional or as deep or as tender. When women come in to work with me regarding their wombs, like, I don't take that lightly. Like, it's an honor to midwife a woman through any type of womb healing process, and then to midwife her through birthing her offerings, like in Womb Vision, for instance. Like, that experience is a very deep experience, and I want to make sure it's an aligned fit for me and for her, because if it's not aligned for both of us, it's not going to be in the highest good. And so for you as the facilitator, for the woman who's launching this, if what you're doing isn't for your highest good and it doesn't feel supportive and nourishing for you, it's not going to be nourishing for the rest of your community either. So it's really important to listen to yourself and to take inventory throughout the launch. And also, while it can be helpful to have like a launch plan or a strategy given to you by God, of course, sometimes there's mystery in the launch. And it's about listening to the mystery. And for instance, like, I am including this as part of the launch process, right? I wasn't planning on doing this. This came in through God. God inspired me to do this, planted the seed for me to do this, and I felt the energy open up. And so I came, and I'm recording it, and I'll share it probably tomorrow so you can receive it. And that's part of it. And so it's about like trusting, like when God has you share a post, trusting, when energy opens up to maybe do a live, or to promote it through that avenue or through this avenue, or to follow up with that person, or to reach out to that person, or nudge this email along that's been sitting there waiting to be sent out. I mean, it's all a beautiful orchestration. And when you can see it as like launches spiritual initiation, launches ceremony, and knowing you're always coming from, this offering is going to be successful, and I'm following the steps to allow it to come to fruition in an organic way. And the launch is also an opportunity for you to level up in your own belief systems and look at where parts of you maybe aren't believing in it, or aren't trusting it, or are doubting, right? All of these things will come up. If you know, right? I've done so many launches. I've had a lot of failed launches in the past where I didn't believe in myself or my offering. I've had a lot of really successful launches as well. And now I know every time I put out an offering, it's because someone's coming in. I'm at that point in my journey where that's my belief system, because God has brought me to that God ordained belief system. And I encourage you to adopt it as well if it feels aligned, of knowing your offerings are always going to be successful, and you get to decide what success means to you. But the most important thing in terms of my launch process that I go through is making sure that I don't give my power away, and that I don't overgive in order to compensate, which is something that I used to do, of like overgiving, or I have to give all this free stuff in order for people to join, or I have to lower my prices. No, like, God sets the prices for my containers, and I know the value of them. And so for the women who are aligned to come in, it's going to be aligned for them. And knowing that when God gives you a price, you stand behind it. And that's also part of the initiation, is standing by the prices, the sacred investment that you set, and choosing that, and knowing that there is a buyer at every price point. And it's about the transformation that you're providing. So it's a great time also to do self-inventory on what you're noticing. Do you notice any thoughts that come up during the launch? Do you have any self-sabotaging things? Did you quit before it ended because you didn't believe in it? That's also something that I see a lot, and I've witnessed in myself, of like, well, no one else is coming in, so I'm just going to stop promoting it, or I've given up, or whatever. That's also like a self-sabotage thing. So just doing self-inventory of like, what have I noticed about myself, and what do I really believe, and is it ultimately true, or am I just falling into like an old loop that maybe is from, launch trauma, which is a real thing. It is a real thing when you put your heart and soul into an offering and you launch it and no one comes in. It's a hard thing to go through. I've gone through it several times, and it's important to heal that. So sometimes the launch will bring that up, Oh my God, there's so much to this. I can't wait to teach the masterclass in Womb Vision. It's going to be so good. But anyway, I just wanted to come forward today and just share a little bit. So I pray this may support you in your launches. If you're launching something right now or in the future, I feel like to summarize, God has a strategy for your launch, and finally coming into that full place of trust with God, of knowing who you are, who you're meant to serve, knowing that even if it doesn't make sense, if you follow God's guidance, you can't go wrong, you can't mess it up, and trusting in the timing of how everything unfolds, and trusting in the spark, in the womb spark of your inspiration, and knowing that when you follow that, it's going to serve. And regardless of the outcome, it's about who you become in the process of the launch, and becoming a stronger leader, a stronger visionary, deeper trust with God, deeper self-acceptance, honoring your body's needs, honoring your own mental, emotional well-being, and really loving yourself through the process, and honoring that you have put yourself out there, that you have showed up, that you've given it your heart and soul, and you've showed up in a way that you stand by. That is a successful launch to me. And I know that if you're here, if you're listening to this and you have a soul business, or you want a soul business, if you know you're being called into sharing your offerings with the world, I would absolutely love to support you in any way that I can. So just know that, God has plans for you, and it's just about attuning to those and inviting God into the process. And if you feel called to joining us in Womb Vision, I have one space left for this round. And we're going to be going really deep into this. And there's going to be a lot of miraculous transformations, the elevation of offerings, the elevation of your income. When you elevate the architecture of your offerings, and you allow God to come in and rearrange and reorganize, and to bring forward the God-ordained belief systems and the God-ordained offerings and the systems and the structures that is actually aligned to your organic blueprint, that honors your medicine and how you're meant to share with the world, everything starts to shift, and the abundance just flows so much more easily. And so I'm going to be teaching you about all of that in Womb Vision, and you're going to receive beautiful womb healing ceremonies and activations as well. So this is a mystery school. It is a mastermind, and it's a mystery school. It is fully devoted to God's organic creational plans that come through you, and that come through me, and come through all of us, right? And really trusting the womb and clearing space in the womb, activating your womb Akash, allowing you to retrieve what's yours, calling back what's rightfully yours, your teachings, what you're here to birth, and doing it in a way that's aligned, natural, organic, isn't forced, and is fun and enjoyable, and brings you into deeper relationship with God. That is, of course, connected to your organic wealth transfer, which is a real thing. I'm experiencing it right now. It's really beautiful. Organic wealth transfer can happen when you are in alignment with God, and you're listening, and you're allowing the flow to come in, because you're following God's instructions, and you're not trying to do it on your own. So there's so much more that I'll be teaching inside of Womb Vision. And if you're feeling called, you can click on the link below, and you can read more about it, feel into it with your womb. And the application link is also there as well, so you can apply, which will start to really open things up. And our ceremony to begin the Womb Vision journey starts on November 19th, next Wednesday. And right now, the sisters in Womb Vision are starting to tap into the pre-journey work. So the space is open, and our first live call is next week. So I'd love to support you, sister, and wherever you are in your soul business entrepreneurial journey, may God bless you on your journey, and may you receive all that you need to co-create organically in a way that's super enjoyable and pleasurable for you. I'll see you next time.